Hello everyone, this is Olmeca Gold, and today I'm going to show you the Olmeca Gold method of client stacking. So I use this method as an alternative to micromanage or to manage multiple accounts in the single monitor. As you can see, I have 6 accounts on my left monitor here. I have 1 account in the middle, and I have 2 accounts on the right monitor. Um, I use this as an alternative to ISboxer and EvE-O preview, so I can manage multiple accounts. Um, I guess we should start with how to fix things up. So how to set the thing up, and then I'll talk about how to how to use it basically. So let's start with the setup. As you can see, I have several accounts. I have up to 33 accounts logged in right now here, and I like to use them at groups of 10. Sometimes I use the 4 here and then 7 from the other accounts, or 6 from the other accounts. So but I have 3 monitors. I have my left monitor, middle monitor, and the right monitor, and actually the recording is kind of following the mouse pointer right now. So what I need monitor space to manage multiple accounts, and so many people might need this for several reasons, for farming, for AFK clocking, for other reasons. I know there's lots of people with lots of accounts around you, among you. So this method is best if you are actively using your accounts, rather than, suppose you're AFK cloaking, then maybe you should go with the ISboxer or EvE-O preview. ISboxer is still legal if you don't go into illegal features such as input broadcasting. I strongly recommend not to use it that way, but you can still make use of it if you have multiple clients. So the very first thing you need to do is you need to uh, set up client profiles for each of these clients. So I have 7 profiles on me. Actually, I have multiple profiles, but 7 of them are folding, so I call them folding. And for example, this sixth account is tied to the sixth folding profile, and the 7th account is tied to the 7th folding profile, and the ninth account is tied to the ninth folding profile. So what you need to do firstly is go into these profiles, manage profiles, and create lots of, at least create as many as you want to manage. Like if you want to manage a single monitor, if you want to manage 6 accounts, then you need to create 6 profiles. So here I have both. For some accounts I have full screen and half screen profiles, and for folding accounts, which I call them folding, so for the accounts that I'm going to stack on top of each other, I have one for each. So for example, these 7 accounts from 6 to 13, actually from 6 to 12, they have each their own profile, and then it keeps recurring. So the 13 actually uses 6 again, and 14 uses 7, and so on and so forth. And I have groups of 7 here. The number 7 I chose because of the maximum amount of bombers that you can have in a wing, but you can choose any number. You can have 10, you can have 5, whatever you want. But the higher the number gets, the lower the micromanagement the higher the micromanagement you'll need to do. So maybe I don't recommend more than, if you have like full HD monitor and not 4K but just full HD, then I don't recommend going over, say, 10 accounts. So I use 7. It's fine. So how do I do it? So I firstly created my profiles. Yeah, so then I logged in. I'm going to log in, and I'm going to resize my windows And my current windows are already resized, so but you'll see how it works. So here I'm going to put this half screen accounts here. Okay, my accounts are logging in right now. Okay, this is my main account. Second, no, okay. So, here is, let me do it first. So I'm going to stack them on top of each other. Like this. So each of these windows are resized, but they are going to be non-resized when you first make your new profile. They are going to be the copies of each other. You are going to need to resize them. So what I do is I leave some space in the bottom like that. So each client is some distance from the other at the bottom side, and so the last account, the final account, is wider but it's shorter, and then the first account is longer but the least wide when it comes to the space they are occupying. And I have some space on the left hand side as well, so these spaces they come in handy when you want to open the inventory or something on all the accounts at the same time. So the main trick with this method is you constantly shuffle with the mouse like this. Like if I want to activate a module, I shuffle like this and activate my module. And my overviews and some useful stuff will be on the right side, so I'm going to see the overview. At least I'll be able to target stuff, and I'll be able to follow fleet broadcasts with respect to when it comes to um, fighting or doing PV or other kind of stuff. I'll be able to use the overview. So another thing is, how do I do at the start? At the start, let's see. In the beginning, when my accounts appear in the middle monitor, I take them. I take the first one here, and then the second one. I anchor them with respect to this little EvE button on top next to each other. So it comes really handy for me, and I anchor it right next to each other, and they are at the same height. So when I anchor it right next to each other, there'll be enough space on the bottom side, and there'll be enough space on the left side. So that's how I start things up every time. So I'm not using an automatic tool. Maybe ISboxer does it automatically, but this takes like 5 seconds of mine. So I don't need to, so I can just log in right away without wasting so much time. Okay, so let me, once you resized all the clients, the second thing you're gonna need to do is you're gonna need a user interface for you're gonna need to rescale the interface for each of these accounts, because you're gonna have different spaces for each. So this kind of usage, maybe maybe ISboxer is better, but this kind of usage is nice if you want to use multiple bombers at the same time, or multiple pontifexes at the same time like me, or I sometimes use multiple PV ships, drone ships at the same time. So you can use this kind of method is best if you want to maximize the client space you have here. So it's a big space still that remains to you, and even this one is big, but this time it's vertical, but it's still big. So if you want to maximize the space, you should use it this way. Alternatively, you can stack them by just minimum. If you have too many accounts, the one of the things is EVE uses is your CPU and your RAM. So if you minimize the client space, it's gonna use the minimum resources. I heard it really matters. So that's one way to save some computer resources if you have so many accounts. And then what you can do, uh, you can still stack them like this, right? Like this, and you can go between them like this, right? So you can do the same thing with the minimal amount of client space, but I'm going for the maximum one. That's why it's the reason why I am doing it this way. Okay, so now let's see how I do it this way. I'm going to resize again. Okay, so I have, and if you have OCD or anything, you can just you can have a desktop background to determine these areas that you anchor your clients, so you don't have to. Mine are always like slightly, whenever I do it I mess it up slightly, so they are not perfect, but they work for me. So I'm going to log my accounts one by one, and show you how to use the thing, right? So let's log them in. As you can see, I'm logging in by clicking. So I'm going from the leftmost to the rightmost using this space here, and I'm going to from rightmost account to the leftmost account using the space in the bottom. The reason why I have this empty area here, is because I make use of it when I go to the right side, when I go to the bottom side. I make sure there is at least some space I can click, and these are neatly aligned, so there is enough space so I can shuffle quickly, right? So I don't need to um, like click. If I the smaller the clickable area is, the harder for me to be able to shuffle, right? So that's why if you have more accounts, you need to like stack them closer and closer and closer to each other. So I think 6 is a good number, 7 is good, 10 is good. If you're really nice with the micro, you can do like 20 accounts, but it's going to be hard. If you have like a 4K monitor, I imagine it's going to be easier. I never used it with 4K monitor. Okay, so here's the second thing you need to do. You need to adjust your user interface so it fits to your monitor space in each account. So here I have a little bit more space. Here I have a little bit less space, but in both cases I have space enough to fit stuff. So what I use is on the right side I use the overviews, right? So if there's a ship here, the ship can I'm going to show you actually. I can target the ship easily, but let's first invite this stuff to the fleet and see. Okay, I'm inviting my accounts now. Alright, one of them doesn't appear in chat for some reason. Maybe I can use it to steal more excavators, but I guess it's an exploit, so I shouldn't do that. So invite this one too. Oh, what's the name? Let's see the name. Moragda 10. You see, I use this kind of setup to steal excavators from Gunsworm, and in this system I was logged off here, so there was plenty of excavators to begin with, but also of course they docked most of them, they scooped them. So I'm going to warp to a safe spot and show you the targeting stuff.
Warp drive active.
And I'm getting insults from Gunsform as always because they don't like me. These people hate me. It's fine. So I'm warping to my fleet member. As you can see, I can use this kind of fleet
Warp
warps.
drive active.
Okay, I'm landing one by one. Let's see if there is any combat probes out. No, so I can show you some stuff. Okay, so as you can see, I can see my overview and I can see the types at least, not the names, but the types at least give me an idea. So I want to target this Pontifex. And if I'm at the same distance from everything, and right now I'm not, but if I was, then that ship would have been the the order which the overview is set would have been the same for every other ship. So right now maybe it's confusing which Pontifex I'm going to target, but it's not that confusing. For example, for that confusing when it's a single ship or something. Or for example, if I want to warp to the sun or to a gate, I can do it like this. I can use the overview. So for example, if I want to target Jilly here. One. This is already Jilly. Jilly, 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 Jilly. Or I want to target the Proteus, and there's a single one. I just control click and target like this. So it's very fast. I can target stuff in just one server tick, right? Sometimes I do this and people think I'm broadcasting, but I'm actually just doing like this, right? Very quickly. So the second thing is warping around. But first, let's talk about the user interface again. So the other thing I can do is I can use broadcast here. Let's broadcast some align point. Okay, so let's broadcast it. Okay, so I have a line point broadcasted, so I can follow this broadcast by right clicking here, right? Okay. I mean, it looks like I don't have space for to handle the aligning, but I can actually have a little bit just more space. So the letters are showing here. So align, as you can see, align, align, align. So as you can see, I can use this to align to stuff as well. Or follow broadcast, like targeting broadcast, I can target from here by control clicking. So the third thing, I have all the D-scan and and the probe scan on the left side and the local on the left side. So whatever you need to check is on the left side, and whatever you need to click is on the right side. And so these overviews will, for example, these three things: the local, the dry D-scan, the probe scan, they'll become shorter when I come to the topmost account. They're minimized, right? and and as you see, my targets are anchored here and they are appearing vertically here like that. All for all the accounts is the same. And what else? To align to stuff or to warp the stuff, it's really nice to use the hotkeys. For example, now I'm going to align at the same time with 6 ships. I just align to the sun, right? With 6 ships, I just align to the gate. Okay. And so taking gates, for example, I can, maybe there is some trap. Let's see on this scan if there's anything. Looks like there is no. Let's warp to this gate. So I'm going to also make sure you use like, you maximally use like warp, wing warps and fleet warp. So I'm going to fleet warp to this gate, and I'm going to click D, which is
active.
jump button. I'm going to click the jump button and click this gate one by one. Now I'm just automatically jump. I'm going to just automatically jump with 6 accounts as soon as I land. You see, I'm landing. And I clicked D and it's the jump button, right? So it's really nice to use the shortcuts. Just jumped here. Here's the Nix. I don't care about it. I'm going to warp to a safe again.
Warp drive active.
Okay. So you just saw how to warp. You warp to a gate at 0 and hold D and jump, and it's gonna jump. And D is also the same button for dock. So if it was a station, I would dock to the station.
Warp drive active.
Okay. What did I do? I mistakenly fleet warp. It's fine. Did I warp to 0? Okay, let's do it again. Let's jump again. I'm holding D and jumping. So you don't even need to. I used to use the like the radial button like this. I used to do it like this. For example, warp to sun. I'm warping one by one. I used to do it like this, but actually using keybinds is much more helpful. And when you want to activate, of course, you just, for example, I bomb stuff, so to bomb at the same server tick, I just go from left to right and spam the F1. F1 is my bomb launcher. Or suppose I want to chain bush, so I want to align somewhere and regroup. When I regroup, all my ships are following me, and now I need to activate my pusher module, but for that I actually need to activate it in different server ticks. So only if you activate in different server ticks you can actually chain bush, or else you can't. So I'm doing it one by one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As you can see, I'm going to jump up further and further from the bookmark here, and this was my original spot, and I'm 600 kilometers away. And as I said, if you want to activate modules really fast, you can get, for example, suppose I want to activate the MWD, right? And all my ships are suddenly faster. And I just shut the MWD off. So this is how you use stacked windows, and this is pretty much it. So make sure you have lots of space for this overview, because overview is the most important thing. And make sure you have some space so you can warp to your individual fleet members from here. And whatever I do, for example, I want to target one of the pontifexes. I targeted it, one of the pontifexes. To do the next operation, I usually go to the entire leftmost account and do the next operation. For example, I want to launch my drones now, so I'm going to launch my drones. To do the next operation, I go back again, and I want to attack now, so I attack to my pontifex one by one. I'm not going to attack it now, but you got the gesture. Now I'm going to retrieve the drone, so I'm going to retrieve one by one. So one cycle of going from the left to right is one cycle of activity by the activity. So each action,
drive active.
I go from left to right and go back again. And the final thing, if I want inventories or if I want to click any of these, like fitting, market any of these, sometimes like fitting these like many accounts is kind of a hassle. So what I can do is I can open inventories from here at one go, right? Instead of doing one by one. So this is also another neat feature, and this is the reason why I have these like small windows on small areas on the left side. Okay, so I think this is it. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave in the comments, and thanks for watching.
Drive
And
active.
yeah, see you in the next guide, and take care.